Alright boys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how I made $3,000 from Facebook Marketplace by selling items on Marketplace, also while doing meetups, making money in person, talking to people, making money on the street. Essentially, none of this fucking airy-fairy e-commerce bullshit where dudes, try to sell you courses on how to, make money from the sky and whatnot. Let's get back to the basics, right? I feel like in the year 2026, people are sort of sick of this online stuff, all this AI and all this revolutionary technology where, you have to download an app for a product or to buy something and all this Amazon garbage or whatever. People just want to deal with people, all right? I feel like that's the new sort of wave that's going to be coming in. So if you can master this skill, learn how to sell in person to people on Marketplace whilst using Facebook Marketplace ads on Marketplace, then you're going to be in for a real treat because you're going to make lots of profit and lots of money, just like myself. Now, this video isn't going to be showcasing you how to order products, how to find products to find, what products to order essentially. That is all in my Discord. That's absolutely free. I don't charge for that stuff. I make money by doing this, not by selling courses, not by selling links, not by selling access for people. I don't get kickbacks from suppliers, etc., etc. My money is made by doing what I'm about to show you. And essentially, what I'm going to be showing you is the data behind this and how I can make money, using this data, and essentially what it all means and how it all stacks up at the end of the day when I've done a campaign or an ad campaign. I should be more specific, and what that looks like. So the first thing you'll probably notice, I'll just talk about the listing very quickly, is I put luxury hats. The reason why I do that, by the way, for a bit of context, sorry, I jumped the gun a bit. I sell luxury sort of like replica items, all your big brands and whatnot. I sell replicas of that. I tell everyone that it's replica. I don't ever sell as real. That's illegal. Whereas this is sort of like a grey area where it's not scamming and everyone's sort of a winner. And, big companies, they aren't going to chase you up on this stuff. So unless you're selling like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, the chances of you getting in trouble for this are very minimal. It's like the police can do anything or whatever. Now, back to the video. So luxury hats, right? I do that because if I put Gucci hats or if I put Louis Vuitton hats or Burberry hats or whatever, I'll get taken down. Right? Simple as that. Basically, Facebook has an AI, and if they see that low price coupled with a big brand name like that, they're automatically going to assume it's fake. I'm not saying that if you put up a thing saying Gucci hat for like $250 or $300 or whatever, they probably won't take it down because that's a bit more realistic. But if you put up like multiple, if you're in your picture you have like multiple hats and say Gucci hats and all this sort of stuff, it's more than likely going to get taken down. So that's why I put luxury hats. And again, I like to put hats, and sometimes if I do other products like sunglasses, I'll say luxury sunglasses. If I sell, I don't know, men's bags, like, messenger bags, I'll put men's bags, luxury men's bags. Same for women's bags, same for luxury shoes, etc., etc. I don't really sell all that sort of stuff on here. I like to stick to the basics on Facebook Marketplace because it's easier to crunch the numbers when it comes to this. And the next thing you'll probably notice is the picture. Now, the reason why I blur the picture is, again, so that the AI sort of detective on Facebook Marketplace doesn't actually take my thing down. As you can see, it's blurred enough so that the brand is sort of like blocked out and it's a bit harder to tell what it is, but it's not blurred to the point where it's like you can't see a thing. So people know what it is just by looking at it. You ever done like those human robot sort of like capture things where it comes up and it says slide across with your mouse to prove you're not like an AI? This is essentially what I'm doing. I'm doing my own version of that by blurring the image. So I'm getting rid of the fucking bots that might take down my thing, but I'm also saying if you're a human, you can obviously tell what this is, and if you're interested, send me a message. And the reason why, as well, I do that image is where I put all the hats on top of each other, is that's just for like visual appeal. If people see like a bunch of hats and whatever, and I go, wow, this guy's got quite a lot of stuff. And you can see I've got stuff in the background too, like shoe boxes and whatnot. So people see that and they go, oh, he's got lots of stuff. Let me see. There might be something there that I'm interested. So people are more likely to click on that. So it invokes a bit of interest. Now, if I go quickly and look at this, the details I put here or the description, the first thing I say is luxury men's hats with the cap emoji. Now that, shut the fuck up, get out. Now, as you can see with the description, the first thing I have is luxury men's hats, cap emoji. Now that CN, it doesn't show up on the computer, but it's actually an emoji from Apple. It's the Chinese flag, okay? So basically what I'm doing is I'm basically sort of subtly saying, look, these are from China, all right? So you know what they are. They're replica hats. I generally, 9 times out of 10, don't have to tell people that they are replicas. People just know. As simple as that. So as you can see here with the pricing, I do 1 for 60, 2 for 100, 3 for 130. Now you can see heavily that as the price goes up, or sorry, as you order more hats or more accessories or whatever, the price slowly sort of drops down, like big time. Normally, if I was to keep it at that price, it would be 2 for 120. You know what I mean? So essentially, I'm doing a price anchor at 60, so people are more likely to order more. And people look at that and go, wow, imagine how many I could get, or how much I could get 5 for, or 10 for, or whatever. So that's how I do that. Now, available for purchase on my website. So I put in my website there, because I do have a website. We're basically trying to make it easy for people to order stuff. So if they're out of state or whatever, so sometimes when Facebook Marketplace does an ad, it appears like out of state or not very close to the person where I'm located. And essentially they can just order online. I put my Instagram there because that's where I do a lot of my retention of customers, and I've got a lot of other products up there. And it's just easier for me to talk to on Instagram, I feel like. And then it's a call to action. So I say DM for styles and pictures. So I'm basically saying, look, the image is blurred. You can DM me to see the styles and pictures. Simple as that. Now, if we quickly have a look at the ads manager, actually before we go into that, it's always good to have a good reviews on your account too. This is one of my many Facebook accounts, and you can see there that we've got 4.5 stars out of 7 reviews, which is pretty good. Now, as you can see here, once you do an ad campaign on Marketplace, it'll come up just like any other ad would on Facebook. It comes up in the Meta ads, what's it called? The ads manager. And you can see here, I get all the same data as all the other people would with their stuff. I can see, we'll quickly look at like age demographics. So look, I can see that most of my age demographic is from men 18 to 34 and a little bit beyond that. Some people beyond that, 14%. So I'm mainly looking at targeting people within this age range, 18 to 34, because it's better, because generally they've got money, all right? They've got jobs, they're getting paid every week or whatever, so they've got money, all right? You can see here that we got pretty much 0% of people from 13 to 17, which is good because I don't really want that demographic. Those demographic are a little bit too young. They don't have constant money coming in. They, sometimes they want to be like little wannabes and try to rob you and whatnot. Not saying that people in this age group won't, but it's just better that way. It honestly is. I'd rather have 0 people. And it looks like, obviously, that Facebook is not showing it to minors or whatever. So that's good for me. And you can see here as well that they completely skip out on people aged 45 to 64. Interestingly, there are a couple, 2% of people were women over the age of 65, which I thought was quite odd. But anyway, let's keep looking at the actual data here. Now, I want to show you first quickly an unsuccessful campaign which I ran. And I sort of go through here why. I won't read all that, but I'll sort of briefly explain it. Now, when you're doing a Facebook Marketplace ad campaign, it's important to understand what your data actually means and what your data is actually telling you. Now, the total spend on this first campaign, not for this campaign that I just showed you, for the other campaign I did, was $29.54 or roughly $30, okay? Now, it reached about 13,128 people, which is a fair few amount of people if you think about that. That's probably like what? A decent sized, medium sized stadium, That's like a small crowd to the NRL, all right? If you think of it like that. Quite a lot of people. Now, out of those people, 1,756 of them clicked on the listing, and with that's a click-through ratio of about, percentage of 13%, right? So 13% of people who were scrolling on Marketplace and saw the listing clicked on it, and that sort of shows me, that's the pretty decent engagement, if you ask me. So that I would have done the same thing as I did with this one here with the blurred image and all the hats. That's decent, but again, I'll explain why it didn't work out as well as the other one we just did. Now, out of those people, 36 people messaged me. So out of the 1,756 people that messaged me, only 36 of them that clicked on the listing, 36 of them actually messaged me. So that's a cost per message of 70 cents. So for every message I got, I had to pay 70 cents to get that. And every 2 cents was for the clicks on listing. So every click on listing, I had to pay for 2 cents, right? Right, the Instagram funnel rate. Now, this is a tricky one to actually sort of know, because you never know where someone might actually come from. I'm sure there are ways you can tell where your Instagram followers come from. I'm sure Instagram would give you that information. But essentially, I worked it out that 7.2% of people who I was messaging actually went through and followed my Instagram. Because what I did in this particular campaign is, instead of really trying to close the sale on Facebook, that's one of my mistakes. I tried to close the person on Instagram because I thought it would be easier. So essentially, I was rushing the sales process and trying to get them straight onto my Instagram rather than going through the actual proper lead funnel where you're meant to, get the first sale on Marketplace, then refer them to the Instagram. That's usually how I do things, but for some reason, I was trying to get them instantly onto Instagram, and I'll just explain it now. So essentially, in this ad campaign, what I was trying to do was, as I mentioned before, I have a website, and I just launched my website. I was wanting to get people to order from the website because I wanted to just start, getting sales on the website, because I thought it'd be so much easier if I could do it online, right? And like I said at the start of the video, I feel like there's been a resurgence in more in-person sales rather than online sales. So, as you can probably tell, it didn't work out that well. And essentially, what I was trying to do was get them onto the Instagram so that they could see reviews and other products and go, okay, this guy's legit, I'll buy from his website, rather than just some random on Facebook Marketplace, if you know what I mean. Now, the cost per close basically means it cost me $10 to close each person. So for the person to actually buy something, I had to spend $10 to get that person to buy. Essentially what it means. Now, the close rate out of the people who messaged me, so out of the 36 people who messaged me, it was a close rate of 8%, which is pretty poor. And again, that boils down to me rushing the sales funnel and me wanting them to buy off the website. So that's exactly why it didn't really work out like that. So yeah, I won't read all this. Like I said, the main reason why I didn't succeed with this ad campaign is because of what I just said, right? So how I would improve it, I would start by just, slowing it down, the sales funnel, and I would just ask questions. When you're doing a marketplace sale, you're always wanting to move forward and ask questions so you can sort of get to that point where it's like, okay, it's time to meet up, essentially. So I'll ask someone what they're after, send them photos, and then they'll say, how much is this? And I'll say, this is $70. I'll say, where are you located? So I'm always trying to move the conversation forward. I'm not trying to get blank responses, right? If you ask a question, people are more likely to reply because, you're asking a fucking question, okay? If you just do a statement and say, this is what I got, people aren't going to be inclined to do it. Whereas if you say, what do you like from here? People can go, yeah, I like this, 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 and this. And I go, yep, I can do you a bundle price on that. Where are you located? And then they say, I'm located here. And then I say, okay, that's great. Do you need pickup or can I drop off to you? And then we go from there. And so the more times or the more messages and the longer you talk for, the better it will be for you. Now we'll get into the second ad campaign here. Before we get into the second ad campaign, I didn't even go over how much the results of the thing. What am I doing? Now, you see here that I got 3 customers, right? And it was an average order value of about $100, as you can see. Now, the funny thing about this is, in hindsight, this was actually a really good campaign, but at the time it wasn't. As you can see here, off each first sale, we made $70, $35, and $90. So essentially, sweet fuck all. All right. However, LTV, that essentially means lifetime value. And lifetime value means how much the customer has since bought off you. Now, I ran this ad back in, I would want to say, April. So about 3 months ago. It's July now. Since then, these people, Lachlan, has bought and referred me to over $5,000 worth of profit easily. Jackson, $500 worth of profit. And Jav, $2,000 worth of profit. So you can see that that's $7.5 grand profit that I've made off these 3 people. And you might be thinking, bro, how the hell did you manage that? Man, that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you get motherfucking lucky. You get super, super lucky. And that's just how it goes. I'm not saying every Facebook buyer is going to be like this. In fact, very few will be like this. But I got really, really lucky. And I managed to secure 3 really good customers, especially the top one. As you can see, $5,000 is a lot of money. Now, if we go down to here, this is my second ad campaign. And if we have a look through, you can see, well, actually, we'll start on the data again. Start from the start, right? So we spent $109.17. Of that, we got a reach of 29,928. So 29,000, almost 30,000 people saw it. Clicks on the listing, we got 2,269. Click-through rate was 7.58%. Now, you're probably thinking, this was meant to be a more successful campaign, yet some of these metrics are lower than up here. Like this was 13%. That's a 5% difference, or a 5% negative, net negative. Now, what you have to understand about Facebook is the more you spend, the more people it shows it to, right? But the more people it shows it to, the less people who are compatible for the ad, or the less people who aren't going to be interested. Facebook gets a certain demographic, like males 18 to 35, which I showed you, and they'll just show it to a bunch of those people, or people who they think might be interested. Now, the more it goes on, and the more you spend, I guarantee if I was to spend like $1,000 on an ad campaign, I would have a click-through rate of probably like 2 to 3%, because even though you're spending more, the same quality of results and the same quality of customers aren't reflective, right? But even though I'm getting a click-through rate here of 7.5%, I still had, 92 people message me versus 36 people, right? So even though I spent more, I'm getting more people messaging me. 92 is a lot of messages, a lot, right? 92 people. That's like if you go to a stand-up comedy show and you're a comedian, if you get 92 people there, that's a lot of people. You can imagine me right now talking to 92 people. That's a lot of people. That's 92 people that have actively showed interest in your product. Now, cost per message was $1.20. So it cost me $1.20 to get each person, and that's up again from 69 cents. Like I said, this number is going to go up the more you spend on your ad. And the cost per click was 5 cents, up from 2 cents, which is over double. So even though it doesn't seem like a lot, it is a lot compared to the other metric that we got. Now, the Instagram funnel rate I didn't do on this one. The cost per close was about, again, $10 per person, which is about the same as here, $9.85 versus $9.10, which is interesting. So that's always a good metric. And the close rate was up about 5%, so 13%, which is good. Now, if we go up to here and we have a look at, actually before I get into that, I want to show you one more piece of data that I think was really important. And that is the average order value. Now, as you can see here, the average order value, I haven't really made it very clear, but I'll put on the AOV, so the average order value, was $354. That's really, really, really high. Now, for someone, right, that is putting up a $60 ad showcasing 1 for 60, 2 for 100, and 3 for 130, right? That's the only prices I've got up there. The average sale value was $350. That's exceptionally high. The higher that number as well, the better, obviously. Now, as you can see here, if we go through, look, 450. This, by the way, this is not before profit, so this is revenue. So you can see here, 450, 120, 670, 300, 500, 140, 250, 100, 480, 150, 50, 340, 400, 300. Big money sales. Big money sales. We're not looking at small, tinsy-wincy fucking $60 sales or $100 sales, right? Majority of these sales are above $200, right? Even like above $300, which is really, really good, right? Now, another thing you'll probably notice here too is the color coding. Now, I color code based on how well I think the customer is going to be in for me in the future and how well I can retain that customer. And you can see like I do notes here. We'll get into a few of the notes in a second, right? So Deacon, I put in yellow, right? So yellow essentially means they're the second tier. So they're all right. I think we can retain them, but there's a couple things that are a little bit off that I don't like, that don't make them like the perfect customer. Whoops, get the microphone. Orange is like third tier. It's like they have potential to be a future customer, but I can't see them being a fucking cash cow. Green is like this person has potential to be a good customer and a cash cow essentially as well. That's what I'm trying to say. And then red is like someone who I don't think has potential to be a good buyer, or someone who I don't think, and that's mainly due to like someone's age or like the type of sale. Like you can see that the reds are the lowest two sales, 150. So what I say about old mate Otis over here is that he was very young. He was a wannabe coin limited, so that basically means he doesn't have a lot of money. And I'm not going to pursue chasing a sale up with him unless he reaches out to me first. That's essentially what I'm saying. If he reaches out to me and says, "Look, I want to buy another pair of sunglasses for $50," I don't care. Sure, come pick it up, bro. Now, what I'm trying to do, like I said, is I'm trying to retain customers who I know have got money. So if we go up to Tyus, for example, he's a green. I said very good money potential. Definitely not a weekly customer, but easily a solid monthly contributor. I like to ask people questions, right? I ask them, "Oh, what do you do? What's your job? What's this? What's that? What favorite brands? All this sort of stuff." And if I get an idea of like what people do and how much money that they can make based off like what they do, I'm going to chase up that customer more than I would little old Otis, who's a young little dickhead who's got no money, right? Simple as that, right? And yeah, you can see I've done notes on people here. Like there was a guy from Perth, I forgot his name, but he bought all this stuff. Big first time spender due to heading back to Perth. Potential for large random sales, but location is a problem. Okay, that's why he's an orange. This guy was in Brisbane. He'd be a green because he was a really good first time buyer. I think he spent $500, I think, first time. So yeah, really, really good. Now, you might be looking through the items sold and be like, "Look, this was an ad for luxury hats. What has any of this stuff got to do with hats? You've only had a few sales here with hats. You've only had literally 1, 2, 3, 4 out of like 13 sales." And the reason for that is, I boiled it down to in here. I carry a lot of stock. So people have stuff blurred and they'll ask what else I have. Or I'll say, "Do you want to see what other stuff I have?" So I'm always not just focusing on the hats, even though hats are good to sell because I can clear them out quite easily and do super cheap on them. I'm saying, "Look, what else do you want to buy? I've got heaps of stuff." I send them through a bunch of stuff. They go, "Wow, this guy's got heaps of stuff. He must be the fucking man to buy from." So they buy a bunch of stuff off me. And there's sort of like a novelty to it. They get a bit excited. They're like, "Oh, I've discovered this new guy who sells all this cool stuff, blah 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 blah," and they want to buy up straight away. Simple as that. And that's why you'll see a couple of these guys were buyers, so they bought stuff and then bought again straight away, and bought stuff and bought next day again. Like literally, this guy called Reese literally bought stuff the other day, came back the next day and bought more stuff because he loved it so much. Same with this guy Liam. I think it was like a Thursday Arvo he came through, and then the next Monday he came through again. So what's that, 4 days? So people are coming back and buying stuff. That's what we're trying to do. Repeat customers, okay? Now, you can see here, if we focus on the hats, for example, this guy JJ, a bit odd, but 7 hats, right? He bought 7 hats for $250. Now you might be thinking, bro, that's really cheap. That's about $35 a hat. And yeah, you're right. It is fairly cheap. But if I think about it like this, I could wait, I don't know, 6 months to sell 7 individual hats. Not 6 months, but maybe like 2 months. I could wait 2 months to sell 7 individual hats that are a bit whack, for 420. So $60 each, 420. That's a difference of what, 50 plus 120, $170, right? Or I could go to guys like JJ and give him a cracker deal, 250, still make shitloads of profit, right? But not as much profit as I could. But I still make shitloads of money. And I can get rid of stuff easy, and I can use that big money there, that 250, rather than those small $60 sales to buy more hats, right? Simple as that. What we're trying to do in reselling is get stuff in and out as quick as possible, no matter what the margin, alright? I'm not saying you should fucking break even and do like a fucking... If you get something in, sell it for $10 more than you fucking get it for. But if something's been sitting around for a while and you're having trouble getting rid of it, don't feel fucking ashamed or don't feel fucking scared to break even on it or even take a small little loss, right? To get fucking money so you can order more stuff. Now, I definitely wouldn't do this for hats, obviously. Hats cost me about $10 each, right? So I'm not going to be selling hats at fucking $15 because it's not even worth going up the road to fucking sell it, right? But if you can sell, if you sell for $60 and you drop your price half to like $30, people go, what the fuck? That's cheap as. I'll buy a heap of them, all right? And you're still making 300%. This is where the big money is. This is where huge money can be made by selling bulk with these huge profit margins, all right? There's no use selling for a 500 to 600% profit margin, one at a time, unless you're selling in huge amounts of volume, like on a website, like I'm trying to do, or like I was trying to do. The real money is selling bulk. Selling 10, 20 hats, people come through, want to buy hats, right? And that's where the real money can be made. Or the money can just be made by, sending them other products and going, look, here you go, I've got all these products, and people go, bang, 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 I want this, this, and this, and this. Yep, do a bulk deal, bang, fucking $670, something like that, you know what I mean? Simple as that. So that's the reason why this performed really well, was because I had a bunch of stock sitting around, and because I wasn't focusing on getting, these online sales, and I wasn't rushing the sales process. I was asking questions, getting people in, making fucking money, right? Simple as that. All right. And as you can see here, the final results of the ad campaign was we got about $4,000 in revenue, about $3,000 in profit, which is really, really good. Really, really good, successful campaign. Now, that was over the course of, I want to say, about a month, maybe 5-6 weeks maximum. I think there are some people on here who I've actually forgot to include as well. And this ad is still running. Like, I paused the actual financial ad, but the listing on Marketplace is still up and still getting more, sales than an ad I've got listed at the moment that's actually running. So if I go to my Marketplace, right, and I go to this one here, this one is actually live at the moment. I've got the same amount on it, but it hasn't been as good. So I posted this a week ago. The results haven't been as good. And, You can see here, if we look at, it's on $6 a day. Fucking my card number. So I spent about $50 so far. And I'll do a follow-up video on this too. Now, if we go back and we look at the actual listing itself, I put luxury accessories. I'm not sure why it's not. Here we go. Click on that. And you can see it's sort of the same style. I thought the last time I did this, it did really well. When I put up all the photos of the hats all together. And you can see a few boxes and whatnot, and shoe boxes in the background. And you can see here I've done the exact same thing. I've sort of changed the prices up a little bit. I thought 3 for $130 was a bit low. I thought $140 would work better. So then I can do 5 for $200, where that's like, yeah, that's fucking sick. Now, I think the reason why this ad hasn't done as well is because for some reason the location is popping up in like Hamilton. I think the reason why I did that is because I wanted to attract richer buyers, but that's not the right demographic in that area. For those of you that don't know what Brisbane's like, this is like a rich area, right? And a lot of the people who buy this stuff obviously don't have much money because they're buying replicas. But people in Hamilton want to buy real stuff, so that's probably why it didn't work out as well. So I might change that location. And the other reason why I think it didn't do as well is because I put luxury accessories rather than something specific like hats or sunglasses or bags. I think the reason why that's a negative is because it's so broad that it doesn't target someone as well as if you were to say hats. Right? Accessories are so broad; it could be like anything. Like what's an accessory? Like a fucking it can be whatever. It can be a pair of fucking socks. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I think it didn't do as well. I might change the listing title to luxury hats and see how we go. Just so, because hats is like a staple sort of thing, and you can see I've got most of my hats in the thing. And if I want to show people my other stock, I can always show them my other stock by asking them, do you want to see my other stock? And I might change the location back to Brisbane, the actual city, 4000, so that it's sort of more broad and we might get better results. But anyway, boys, it's been a good fucking thing. That's how I made $3,000 profit selling on Marketplace. So yeah, I'll talk to you boys in the next one. See ya.